Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for joining tonight. Um, we are going to be live on X and YouTube. So if you're on X, please do me a favor and repost this, like it. If you're on YouTube, same thing, like or subscribe or whatever you do on YouTube. I literally This is wild. I have never seen my follower count go down, and it's not because I'm blocking a lot of people, um, although I am, but like just over the last few days, my follower count like dropped. I've never seen that before, but with the engagement increasing, it's wild. I feel like there's some things at play, and it is definitely interesting. Um, if you see any content creator out there that's just, we had this conversation yesterday, Teresa and I, as well as Pia, with the strange suppression that's going on with some of these smaller creator accounts. It's definitely evident. There is a push, so to speak, where there's it feels like there's kind of a takeover of things, and we just need your help to combat that. So please, if you like the content, share it. Try and get as many of your friends, your family, your followers to engage back. That really helps us go a long way. It's not about money, it's about the message, just to be quite frank. So anyways, if you would do that, I would really appreciate it. Well, what is on the screen? Okay, so this past weekend, of course, we had the Judas Harpole episode where I basically highlighted, outlined, went back over everything that we see Brian Harpole doing in his pocket. He's got things that are not normal under his clothing. He's got a vest on. That's where underneath his blue shirt, we've got the actual trigger detonator that initiates the shake charge to detonate. But I started noticing a lot of people that were like, hey, like, what do you think happened? Right? Like, walk us through the pendant actually creating the wound in his neck. So I decided to dive in on a little bit of research, and this is going to be y'all. I don't know if you've been following long enough. I've honed in, or I've gotten my presentation a lot better on showing everything that Brian Harpole has on him and what he does, and then of course everyone else, their actions. This is going to be the same way. This is going to be kind of the walkthrough on what I think happened, or how the delivery went through, from the detonation through the wound. But of course, we will hone in and get it better as the days go by. I'm going to put a call out to anyone that knows animation. There's only so far that we can go with even the nice packages on AI. You just, there's a limitation. And there's also, and I just don't know animation. So if there's anybody that really truly understands or knows animation, I will pay nicely for some help to basically take what is over here in literature and just basic knowledge that gets way in the weeds, and then translate that into an animation. I think that will really, really help a lot of people. I created this image here because this is what I believed happened with the cross pendant. Okay. The cross on the left, of course, is what I believe, or something very, very close from David Yurman that Charlie had under his shirt that day, with the box chain necklace from David Yurman, heavy, heavy duty. I actually asked AI to create me a pendant with simulated aura ring characteristics. And if you all don't know what an aura ring is, you can look it up. It's basically a ring that gives you a boatload of information about your health. And I asked AI to essentially make a pendant with that styled, because you can't ask AI to make you a pendant shaped charge. But I was really surprised with what this turned out, because this is actually very similar to what I had pictured in my mind with what Charlie had under his shirt that day. It is not far-fetched by any stretch of the imagination. My wife has an aura ring. She wears it at night. It tells her, like, the amount of data it picks up is insane. So if like O2, heart rate, it detects different sleep rhythms and all sorts of stuff. So my point is this: if we have, and we've had that available, that kind of technology available that can go into a little ring, I can assure you that the notion or idea of a micro shaped charge, a nitrocarbon, high energy dense material charge, absolutely is within the realm of possibilities. And I mean, it's actually, when you start looking at that ring and the technology that's inside of it, you're like, holy cow. I mean, this is literally something that is very, very possible. Okay. And then when you start really diving into it, it becomes very evident. And then, of course, the last picture, or the last image there, is the exploding cross, or what I asked AI to do. And we know that there were pieces of stuff. There were pieces of things, fragments of what I am alleging is the pendant, the stainless steel pendant, that were flying off of Charlie, okay, after the wound was created and as he was being tackled by Dan. Okay, we have fragmented pieces of that. Of course, we are here on YouTube. And of course, the thing is, I can't show it, but you can easily get on my X page and just type in debris in the search. And it absolutely, I've got a great video that's got all the different pieces of debris, shrapnel, or pieces of the stainless steel pendant that are flying away from him. Okay. So all of these checks with the, whether it's hexanitrobenzene or octanitrocubane, these are the explosive compounds that I am saying were used that day in that shaped charge. Okay. One of the big topics that I hit on back the other day was this right here. A lot of the gun tube guys, okay, and you know who they are. They're the gun tubers. They're like Valhalla, Gary, Range Day, like every single one of them, even Sean Ryan, okay, Brian Harpole, he he hinted at it. He talked about it. He actually let it slip when he said shape charge, and then he stopped himself because like, oh crap, we're not. I haven't. We haven't talked about shape charges. I shouldn't have probably said that. And his reaction actually says everything you need to know because he tried to cut himself off. But those guys over there, the gun tubers, are all describing PETN. PETN was developed back in World War I. It is old school. It's still implemented today. It's still used because it's cost effective and it gets the job done. But it leaves smoke, it leaves burns, it's got a bright flash, it's going to have burn marks, you're going to have charring, you're going to have everything with PETN that these guys are all talking about that are like, you dummies, there's no burns, there's no char, there's none of this. Like we would have burning and stuff. And I'm telling you right now, they are describing a Ford Model T like in the picture right here. That's the equivalent. The new stuff, the new compound, the stuff that's got the, it's just flat out nitrocarbon compounds. This is the equivalent of driving or going to the lot and picking out a brand new Ford Raptor R with, I don't even know how many horsepower they're running, 600 something, like ridiculous comparison. So when you hear someone try to just dismiss this shape charge explosive theory, you have got to remember that they are, because they're throwing it in your face, there's no burns, there's no char, there's no this, there's no that. They are describing PETN, which was developed in World War I. And what we're dealing with here is some new aged super explosives. Okay. So the easiest thing to do is just to dive right in and just explain how it happened and just I'll answer questions after we run through this here. Okay, here we go.
What is the jet in a microshaped charge? Short answer, it is not plasma, not a gas, and not molten explosive. The penetrating jet is a stream of metal from the liner itself, collapsed and stretched into a hypervelocity, fluid-like metal jet. Metal 1, the basic structure, what creates the jet. Image a typical shaped charge, including micro HDM types, has explosive HE, e.g. HMX, RDX, nitro-based compositions. When it detonates, the explosive produces a detonation wave moving 7 to 9 kilometers per second. That wave collapses the metal liner inward symmetrically. The liner material is forced into the axis. Number 2, how the jet actually forms image. Here's the key physics. 1, the liner collapses inward under extreme pressure. 2, opposing sides of the liner collide on the axis. 3, that collision extrudes material forward into a jet. Number 3, what the jet actually is, physically. This is the part most people misunderstand. The jet is solid metal, usually copper, deformed at extreme strain rates, behaving like a fluid, hydrodynamic flow. Not plasma, not primarily molten, not the explosive itself. 4, why it penetrates. Important insight. Penetration is not melting through the target. Instead, pressures are so high that both target, jet behave like fluids. This is called hydrodynamic penetration. Think like a high-speed water jet, but made of metal moving at hypersonic speed. Number 5, micro-shaped charges. In micro or precision charges, same physics, just smaller scale, often optimized for focused jet coherence, short standoff distances. If you remember nothing else, open quote, the explosive doesn't shoot anything out. It turns the liner into a hypersonic metal needle. Let's go deeper, but keep it clean, visual, and intuitive. Number 1, jet versus EFP, explosively formed penetrator. Shape charge jet, what you asked about, image. What happens? Cone-shaped liner collapses inward, forms a long, thin, needle-like jet. Jet stretches, very high velocity gradient. EFP, explosively formed penetrator image. What happens? Shallow dish liner flips forward, forms a solid slug or rod. Key traits, speed 1 to 3 kilometers, stays intact over long distance, less depth, more standoff capability. Think metal bullet formed by an explosion. Number 2, what happens on impact? Steel versus soft tissue. Impact on steel, classic case. Image key idea, hydrodynamic behavior. At those speeds, pressure, millions of psi, both jet and steel behave like fluids. Process. 1, jet tip hits first, fastest part. 2, it pushes material sideways, not drilling. 3, a narrow channel forms. 4, jet continuously erodes while penetrating. No burning through. No melting through. It's closer to, open quote, one fluid forcing its way through another at extreme velocity, close quote. Has shower impact on soft tissue, very different behavior. Image, important difference. Tissue or rigid armor, much lower resistance. Effects. Jet still penetrates easily, but major damage comes from temporary cavity, shock expansion. Fragmentation of jet, pressure wave. Compared to steel, less channel cutting, more disruption plus cavitation. The jet often breaks apart faster, acting like multiple micro projectiles. Number 3, frame by frame, mental animation. Step 1, detonation starts. Image. Detonation wave travels around the liner. Pressure builds inward symmetrically. Step 2, liner collapse. Image. Liner walls slam together on axis. Material splits. Forward, jet, backward, slug. Step 3, jet stretching. Image, tip is fastest, tail is slower, jet stretches like pulled taffy. Eventually, breaks into segments, still moving extremely fast. Step 4, penetration image. Jet hits target, continuously erodes. Penetration depth depends on jet length, velocity, density ratio. Number 4, he simplified. The jet is metal from the liner, moving at hypersonic speed, acting like a fluid stream. Not plasma, fire, explosive gas. 2 different weapons from same idea. Jet equals needle, deep penetration. EFP equals slug, long range impact. Steel.
Okay, so basically, it is liquefied metal from the steel pendant is what actually went into his neck. Okay, the pendant exploded, was detonated, and it created this rod that the jet tip, it's called the jet. So that is what went into his neck, was the jet from the explosive, from the shaped charge. Okay.
The Monroe effect, also called the shaped charge or hollow charge effect, is the physical phenomenon in which a high explosive with a specially shaped cavity, typically conical, focuses its detonation energy into a narrow, hypervelocity metal jet capable of penetrating armor or other targets far more effectively than a plain explosive blast. It was discovered independently by Charles E. Monroe, 1888, and others, but the modern understanding and weaponization came in the 1940s. The effect is purely hydrodynamic. It treats both the liner metal and the target as fluids when pressures exceed material strengths by orders of magnitude. Step-by-step physics of jet formation. 1. Detonation wave initiation. A detonator triggers the high explosive, e.g. Comp B or an HEM. 2. Liner collapse, Monroe's key insight. The detonation wave strikes the thin metallic liner, copper, 0.4 millimeters thick, 60 degrees apex angle in the microexample. The enormous pressure accelerates the liner walls inward and forward at speeds of several kilometers per second. Because of the conical geometry and axial symmetry, the liner material does not simply fly outward. Instead, it is forced to flow along the axis of symmetry. This is analogous to squeezing toothpaste from a tube. The material is squirted forward. 3. Hydrodynamic jet formation. The collapsing liner behaves like an encrypts fluid under these extreme conditions. Material strength is negligible compared with the GPO pressures. Using Bernoulli's principle for steady flow along a streamline, the stagnation pressure at the collision point. The Monroe effect, also called the shaped charge or hollow charge. Why the jet penetrates so effectively. Once formed, the jet strikes the target at hypervelocity. Target material strength, skin micro 10 to 20 megapascals, steel micro gobla, is dwarfed by the stagnation pressure of the jet, around hundreds of gobla. The interaction is therefore hydrodynamic penetration. The jet erodes and displaces the target like a high-pressure fluid jet cutting through mud. Skin, or ballistic gelatin, offers essentially zero resistance. The entry hole forms in microseconds with radial splash of material, as shown in the earlier gelatin diagrams. In summary, the Monroe effect converts the roughly spherical blast of an explosive into a focused directional kinetic energy weapon via simple geometry and extreme pressure hydrodynamics. No moving parts, no gun barrel, just chemistry and symmetry. This is why even a microscale version can perforate skin or tissue simulants effortlessly, as illustrated in the technical diagrams provided. Step 1. Jet approach, 0 milliseconds, pre-impact. The hypervelocity jet, tip 7,000 meters per second, travels toward intact skin. No contact yet. The skin layers, epidermis plus dermis, 1 to 4 millimeters thick, remain understood. This is the instant just before the Monroe effect jet arrives. Step 2. Initial impact and stagnation, instant of contact. The jet tip strikes the skin surface. Extreme stagnation pressure, hundreds of GPAs, forms at the contact point, vastly exceeding skin strength, approximately 10 to 20 megapascals. Skin begins to behave like a fluid. A tiny initial cavity starts forming. Step 3. Perforation and channel formation, microseconds. The jet hydrodynamically erodes through the skin in microseconds via the Monroe effect jet. A clean, narrow channel opens. The skin is fully perforated. Initial cavity expands radially as tissue is displaced like a fluid. Step 4. Full hydrodynamic erosion, completed penetration. The jet continues deeper, creating a fully developed tapered channel. Tissue is displaced radially and downward, red arrows. A larger cavity forms below the skin as the hydrodynamic flow continues. Skin barrier is completely overcome in a tiny fraction of a second. This sequence directly visualizes the hydrodynamic penetration physics explained earlier. The jet treats skin as a fluid under GPA level stagnation pressure, eroding a channel via the Monroe effect with essentially zero resistance. Each stage occurs in microseconds, consistent with the gelatin and skin simulant studies. Why the jet penetrates so effectively? Once formed, the jet strikes the target at hypervelocity.
I'll keep this strictly physics, what's happening, with zero build or actionable details. Micro-shaped charge, full step-by-step, physics only. 1. Detonation begins, 0 image. The explosive transitions from solid detonation, a supersonic shock front propagates through it. Speed, 7 to 9 kilometers per second, typical high explosives. This is not burning, it's a detonation wave. Chemical energy, pressure's velocity. Pressure generated on the order of tens of gigapascals GPA. Number 2, shock hits the liner. Image. The detonation wave reaches the metal liner. Pressure forces the liner inward toward the axis. Important. Collapse is angled, not straight inward. Each point on the liner moves at a slightly different velocity. This creates a converging flow of metal. Number 3, liner collapse becomes a collision. Image. Opposing sides of the liner slam into each other on the axis. This is a metal-on-metal collision at extreme pressure. What happens physically? Material cannot stop, it must flow somewhere. It splits into 2 directions. Forward, jet backward, slug. Number 4, the jet is formed. Question. Image, what the jet actually is. Open quote. A continuous stream of liner metal, accelerated and stretched, close quote. Not explosive gas, not plasma, not flame. It is solid metal behaving like a fluid, because earlier collapsing liner becomes jet tip, later material becomes trailing jet. Stretching effect, because tip tail speed, jet elongates, gets thinner, eventually becomes unstable. Number 5, jet instability and breakup, especially in micro scale. Image, the jet is under extreme tension. It undergoes hydrodynamic instabilities. Result, forms necks, breaks into segments, eventually becomes a string of particles. In microcharges, this happens very quickly. Number 6, jet reaches the target image. At impact, jet tip hits first. Fastest part? What actually happens? Jet does not drill. Jet does not burn. Instead, 1, jet pushes target material sideways. 2, a narrow channel opens. 3, jet continuously erodes itself and the target. Penetration condition conceptual. Penetration depends on jet density versus target density, jet velocity, jet length. Rough idea, deeper penetration equals longer, faster, denser jet. Number 8, continuous penetration process. Image, jet tip penetrates first. Following jet continues pushing deeper. Jet loses velocity over time. Eventually, velocity drops below penetration threshold. Penetration stops. Number 9, final state. In hard targets, narrow deep channel, minimal surrounding deformation. In soft targets, jet fragments. Creates multiple micropaths, temporary cavity, pressure wave effects. The cleanest possible mental model. Open quote. The explosive does not penetrate anything. Close quote. It only does this. Turns a metal liner into a hypersonic fluid jet. That jet stretches, impacts, forces material aside.
Okay. That's all I'm going to do on AI. There's a lot more, but I think hopefully y'all are able to understand the gist of this. In essence, this is exactly what we see. I mean, this literally is what we see from the Monroe effect with the bubble. And look, it's quite simple. The necklace, for whatever reason, and it's more than likely something had to do with the clasp breaking. And I believe when the charge was detonated, because the clasp was not back here behind his neck, because the clasp was down here by the pendant, it created, that's where the weakest part of the necklace was. And it was not hard. I mean, that's why it's the first thing to blow. I mean, I could be wrong, but it certainly appears that way, especially given how the chain violently whips back. Okay. I mean, the necklace it's like taking off. I don't know how else to describe it. It's trying to take off. So we have the clasp breaking, we have the chain flying back. Okay. And then basically the pendant is starting to rise and it's coming right up here. And look, y'all, this detonation, this charge did not go to plan. Okay. So you can't operate under the assumption that the neck wound was what they were aiming for. Quite frankly, the neck wound and the necklace breaking were absolutely not what that's worst case scenario. Well, actually, worst case scenario is the shaped charge actually escaping out of his shirt and hitting Mikey McCoy right over here. Well, that's debatable. So basically, there's just a couple of inches or an inch where I believe in this shot right here, this is where, per the description of how the micro-shaped charges are detonated, the Monroe effect right here this is about to dump the jet into his neck, okay? And there's not a lot of fabric there. I mean, we're talking about an inch to where this thing fires late and it has escaped out of Charlie's t-shirt. And it just reminds me of that speech, Al Pacino on Any Given Sunday. He's talking about life is a game of inches. And literally, I mean, an inch. The seam of the collar of that t-shirt, I think it was nearly escaped out of his t-shirt. So basically, we've got all of these elements. We've got and I hope that description, like I said, this is a rough draft of where I am heading in this investigation. I'm going all in on this nitrocarbon, whether it's octanitrocubane or the hexanitrobenzene, basically a nitro carbon explosive, being what did this. So we've got the jet that's liquefied metal. I mean, it's focused. I think the toothpaste in the tube is a great analogy. When you would just, squeeze it down. I mean, it's directional. So this is not like what the gun tubers would lead you to believe, where you're going to have a big explosion or something. This was not the pager bombs, the Hezbollah pager attack. This is not. This is actually, I'm going to go ahead and just throw this in. This is actually Shinzo Abe attack. Right here. So I don't know how many of y'all remember this story, but Shinzo Abe was the prime minister of Japan. And in 2022, he was taken out by this thing, because in Japan, firearms are extremely hard to come by. And this individual somehow rigged up a double-barreled handgun. This is from their official site. I mean, this is literally like what they used to convict this guy. But what's super curious is how it happened. So what you're seeing right here with that first blast of smoke or puff of smoke back there was supposedly one barrel of the handgun. And then the assassin supposedly took another shot. But here's the problem. Shinzo Abe turns around to look at the shooter who is directly behind him. Directly behind him. Explain to me how the collar or the lapel on the far side of Shinzo Abe is going to dance in a way that very similar to Charlie Kirk's t-shirt dancing. Let's watch it again. He turns. He's going to look directly behind him at his 6 o'clock and watch his right lapel. Before the second attempt and then he goes down. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Anyways, there's something there. But I mean, with technology now, we're able to do translation fairly quickly and easily. I can't find anyone. I can't find anyone that is still talking about Shinzo Abe in Japan. And his replacement, if y'all remember, she was in the news a couple of weeks ago. They're in the Oval Office with President Trump, and it made headlines just because of course, Donald Trump's way of delivering words. So, anyways, we've got the Monroe effect here. I showed y'all the detonation wave. The detonation wave is absolutely 100% crystal clear on camera. The detonation wave. I'll pull it up again. This is what set off the shaped charge, was this detonation wave rising. And I'm scrubbing back and forth, okay? It's not like this wave is doing this back and forth. No one will acknowledge that this here exists, okay? And I always found it weird when like people like Zeb and Jason Goodman and anyone else who had this video super early, they never really, you know, for guys that were super keen on detail, I don't understand how they just kind of cruise over this. And they all did. They actually just said, screw playing video. I'm just going to put out a still image and stack images. That was their game plan, was to not even play the video for people because they thought that the original was never going to see the light of day until Jason Goodman decided to go and have a debate with Chris Martenson. And some students started to notice, like, hey, this is not right. Like, this thing that they're calling a projectile, like being like, it's actually flying away from Charlie Kirk. It's not going to him, but it makes sense why the social engineers, if I'll steal that from Jason, the social engineers, it makes sense why they wanted to only put out JPEGs, because guess what? JPEGs don't move. So you get to say whatever you want to say is happening in a still photograph, right? I mean, and when you stack 3 images on top of each other, I mean, you can say whatever the hell you want. You can literally turn a projectile that's flying away from Charlie, you can turn it into, oh, it's flying towards Charlie. This is a bullet. And I don't have to say much. You can go cruise their pages and see where they were at, saying that, I mean, that was the story for the month ending out September into October. This is the detonation wave. To my knowledge, I'm the only person that's posting about this. Like, that's ever posted about this detonation shockwave rising out of the tent. And I don't know why. I mean, this video is on the Internet Archives, for crying out loud. I mean, why am I the only one that's posting about this? It's weird. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so what do we have? We've got, let's go into Harpole just to hit on a few things. Look, he's got all sorts of stuff under his clothing. This is not his radio. Okay, this is not. I don't know what this is. It's something. It's not normal. I don't know why he needs stuff strapped to him when he's got that bag, other than the fact that he's the trigger man and he's got the controller, the arming device, and the actual detonator all strapped to him. So he's got to have this stuff. That's why he is constantly tugging at his shirt, so that things like these cords, this right here is his radio on his back hip. Okay. On his back left hip is his radio. This right here that he's arming is not anything to do with his radio. Nothing. This has to do with the weapon. This is right as Hunter Kozak gets up to the microphone. Here he is again. Same sequence. See, these are wires. These are wires that are controlling the weapon. That's why he's so obsessive on pulling and tugging down his shirt. It's because he's afraid that this right here is going to be seen. Well, guess what? It's seen. Here's Dan Flood telling Brian, hey, you gotta turn off the weapon because the audio guys, said it's messing with things. This is what the cords are connected to. This thing right here that he's twisting. See the cords? That's why he's always tugging at his shirt, because he doesn't want this to be seen. I think he's wearing a vest. Why do I think he's wearing a vest? Where is the crossed arms photograph? Hang on one sec. I didn't add it to the album. It's because when he crosses his arms to do the final, where he's got his fist, when he crosses his arms, it's right here along where a vest would be. That's where he's got it nestled nice and tight. So we'll see if it uploads. My iCloud is acting up. Here he is going in. This is as Hunter Kozak. See the twist? Okay, that has to do with the weapon, the shaped charge that is inside of Charlie's necklace. Period. Okay. I'll give it a second to update. Or here it is. I didn't move them all the way down. Okay, so again, I know I've talked about the Canadians often. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to not talk about them tonight, so I'm going to talk about them. This is as Brian Harpole goes in to clench his fist or to get the grip around the detonator. That's, where is it, everyone? It's under his shirt. His hand does not have anything in it. This hand is the hand that squeezes. There's nothing in this hand. So he goes right into a fist, and it's right along right here. This is the trigger position. This is the not natural position. This, if everyone does it right now at home, this is the most uncomfortable and unnatural, not natural feeling. And it's because he's doing something nefarious. It's because he's getting ready to detonate the shape charge. Okay. Right here. So remember, his hand was open. There's nothing in it. I know they're not going to be that sloppy. They're not going to risk what we're doing right now and Brian have like a freaking remote in his hand and he's like, oh, boom, boom. They're not going to do that. I know that's what the Canadians are wanting and expecting. They're expecting this to be like, ooh. It's not that, okay? It's called covert. It's called, they want it secretive. So guess what? They're going to do it right here. And watch this. Watch this. Watch this. It's not hard. It's not hard to do something, okay? Dang it, Apple. You got to have touch. You got to have your fingers on it because it won't feel through there. It's the same concept. It's just hidden underneath and it's a button, okay, that's underneath his shirt. That's all it is. It's not hard. Do they just strap it to a vest? He gets it. That's why we see his hands. He's getting it all ready to go. That's how he did it, okay? And then this is the final frame here as he moves back, fist clenched, ready to get his hand around the detonator. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so the last thing I'll end on is this right here. I believe that this officer right here, I'll bring me back up. This officer right here is on his iPhone talking with someone that has been watching HD video from these people that had cameras. There are other nice cameras that were walking around that were trained in on Charlie's person. I believe that he has someone he's talking to that is telling him, or that is kind of command with where things might have exploded. I'll explain here in a second. So we are now at 5 minutes, 15 seconds after the explosion. There's Chief Long. All the other PD officers are on their walkie-talkies except for the red hat. Where's the red hat? Look at him. Mr. Red Hat is in the crowd, looking like a tourist. So Red Hat and Big Boy Blue right here, they were upstairs the entire time waiting. And you've got Red Hat guy, and I'm sure Big Boy and Blue, Blue, they were recording. So here comes Red Hat officer coming down the menorah. 3 minutes, 12 seconds after. Here come the Army guys with their backpacks. Right here. Okay. These guys were flanked, watching from the sides. This guy was right over. So as you can see, Red Hat officer goes directly to Blake Hariff, security guy. They know each other. They are in communication. This is not a crime scene. This is a cleanup scene. They are not interested in securing a single thing. This is a person with a badge that is sitting here talking with the security team, and they're basically getting on the same page. With old Pappy over here, the great Reverend Hibbs, his brother Butch, is right here looking on, making sure everything's running just smooth. But what's curious to me is, I'm just going to point out too the little cleanup crew, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is who Jason Bahunin is with. Jason Bahunins, he knows these kids, and I don't understand how or why he knows these kids, but he does. And the kid he knows is this kid right here in the bucket hat, because they're picking up things. See how these people looking? What are they looking to pick up?
We have multiple eyewitnesses saying that Charlie Kirk has been shot in the neck and that they saw blood spray.
This way, let's go up that way. Hey, move that way. Go, guys, move that way. Go. Push up.
There's the man himself, Terrell
Safety
SD
team's
Farnsworth.
here. I just heard them
Like,
say
I don't
the
give a
active shooter,
shit.
Charlie
This
Kirk,
is
has been
Charlie's
shot.
chair. I need this SD
Charlie Kirk got
card.
hit, is what the security detail just said.
So this is the what I'm calling the local team, or the LDS Mormon team. Is these people right here? This guy right here is part of the LDS Mormon squad, the cleanup squad. What's he hunting for? What are they all looking for in the grass? Don't they know that a police officer with UVU spotted or heard the rifle shot immediately and went to the rooftop over at the Losi Center? I mean, what are they all hunting for in the grass? And what it is right here. See the red hat officer in the corner of the screen right here? He finally gets word of where to go and search, because he points the security team to go and search.
Our guys went back into the crowd because they didn't know, because everybody was on the ground. So those guys that were still there, they went back in the crowd searching for other victims.
No kidding.
Yeah. Because they didn't know, because everybody's just laying there, frozen. And so once we got out of there, they went back in and started searching for other victims and people that had been shot.
No, they're searching for pieces of the necklace.
I didn't know their status. So I started asking for check-ins for the guys that were still at the scene. Like, hey, everybody okay? Read me in. We have other victims. What's going on? And they got retasked. That same chief of police came out and said, hey, y'all hold this crime scene and help us look for other clues. And I'm like, that's a no-no.
Yeah, that's a no-no. That's a no-no, Brian. You're
and
right.
so,
That's a big no-no, because y'all did
They were
it.
back there, and then they were just trying to figure things out.
That's called the murderers
They were there for a
getting to
while.
investigate the murder he just committed. Brian, you're right, Judas. Okay. The point is, the chief, everything Brian just said is bullshit and is a lie, because the chief is over here. The chief wanted nothing to do with that down there, and I don't blame him. The chief was staying as far away as he possibly could, and it's evident. He's up there at the bottom of the menorah. He wanted nothing to do with down there where these clowns are, these murderers, these conspirators, okay? The person that gave the authority is the guy in the red hat with the badge that's carrying his firearm by the barrel. And I mean, who is he? No clue. There were other officers that came out of the woodworks too. There's two other guys that came running up. We'll go over them in the Phil Lyman video, or Phil Lyman live stream that's popping off tomorrow. Can't wait for that one. But where did they all come from? Like, we're talking like within seconds, minutes. I mean, and they came running from somewhere else, but they knew. And Lightning McQueen is one of them. Old Disney dad. He's the guy who arrested George Zinn. Lightning McQueen is a cop. He's got the Lightning McQueen t-shirt. He ran up for one purpose. That was to snag George Zinn, put him in cuffs, walk him to the squad car, turn around, and then get out of there. As he gives Chief Long he gave the chief a little, hey, did it. Did my job.
they were back there, and then they were just trying to figure things out.
Figure things out, yeah.
Back there, and then they were just trying to figure things out.
They're
They were
figuring
there
it
for a
out all
while.
right.
Man, yeah.
So you can't FOIA anything. You can't FOIA that red. We don't even know who the hell the red hat officer is. Can't FOIA it. So I'd love to know who he's talking to, because it is something so important. It's not his wife asking him to stop in at the grocery store later and she's reading off his grocery list. He is talking to someone that has intel on the scene that is a very much alive crime scene, and he starts pointing out to the security team to go hunt for things. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I can put those two thoughts together, and he might be talking to someone that finally, when they reviewed the footage, he's being told where something blew off and that the team needs to go look for it in the grass. I know. Y'all might see me start working for NASA. Oh, goodness gracious. Today was a good day. Baron Coleman dropped the freaking hammer. You know who it's not a good day for is the people, the law enforcement, the district attorney of the county of Utah County up there. And anyone involved with this case that has a badge. Because what Barron dropped tonight is pretty incredible with respect to the timeline, how things went down with Tyler Robinson, with respect to timestamps on his surrender, things that just do not make a lick of sense. And I'm telling you what, it is not gonna. This is crumbling. This is absolutely crumbling, and they haven't even seen the start of it yet. I'd be ashamed if I lived in Utah, to be honest, or anywhere I was affiliated. Like, you talk about y'all looking like the most corrupt people. I mean, I think probably drug counties, drug big time Venezuela, like they have more law and order than what seems to be up there in Utah, to be honest. It's disgusting. Literally the most corrupt looking state I'm shocked. With supposedly the nicest people too. That's actually kind of scary. Because I have friends that are like LDS Mormon, like they're like really, really nice people. And y'all are like really, really nice people up there too. But this right here ain't making a bit of sense. That this is, y'all are letting this, y'all are ready to, is it firing squad today or is it lethal injection? What are we going to do to Tyler? We're going to shoot him up or are we going to stick the needle in his arm? Or is the reason that y'all are quiet because there's a lot of people that are involved? I think that's it. It's going to be inexcusable when stuff starts coming out. Inexcusable. And I hope it brings every single one of y'all down because you deserve it. All right. Thanks for streaming with me tonight. I'll see y'all tomorrow night as we go after Phil Lyman because he is full of shit. See y'all.